As the days get short and the weather gets dreary, one of my favorite things to do is play some seasonal Minecraft. In this video, I'll be starting a series in which I build a very cozy Halloween-themed village, and I'll be doing that as a witch. So if you want to see how that goes, kick back and watch. We straight off landed in a very fall-looking biome. This is not a mod, by the way. It's a resource pack I have installed that makes basically every biome look like it's fall, which, I mean, it's pretty cool. Look at those pretty leaves. We might be a witch now, but we still have to get the early Minecraft stuff out of the way, so let's punch a tree. Let's immediately make some tools with this. I just grab a pickaxe for now and an axe. And for now I will forego upgrading to stone tools because I am spotting a village over there. And I'm hoping that they might have some tools we could snatch. And they indeed have some tools we can snatch. Look at this chest. That's awesome. Let's put these on as well. Also, look how cute these furnaces look in the resource pack. A little bit scary, but mostly cute. Books, we'll be taking them as well. I will also steal that poor villager's job and grab the lectern. I'm sorry. Working sucks anyway, right? Oh, yeah, never mind. Look at this guy. You look fine, good sir. Do iron golems always have red eyes? That looks really scary. And while we're at it, I feel very bad, but I kind of want more iron. So you are gonna have to go. Of course I'm doing it with a wooden axe. This is gonna take a minute. Oh no! My axe is breaking. Well, that was embarrassing. But worth it. We got 7. That golem dropped 5 iron. Thank you so much. It was a worthy sacrifice, I promise. As you can see, I also have the Farmer's Delight mod installed. I've never played with that before, and I'm pretty excited. Speaking of mods, about the witch situation, I basically have a mod installed which lets me be a witch, and it adds several branches of magic to the world that I can explore. For example, potion brewing, herbology, ritualistic, like circle magic, and yeah, we'll be testing as much of that as we can in this series. And I think to get started, you need to craft a book, like a witch guide, a grimoire if you want, and for that you need belladonna seeds, and belladonna seeds can be dropped by breaking grass, so it'll drop the usual wheat seeds, but then also, yes, here we go, belladonna seeds. We also need the usual ingredients for a book and quill, so a feather, some ink, and a book. So let's take a nap and then grab that and then craft our witch guide. Let's go. There's a squid already, so with our fancy wooden sword, let's grab some ink. Did that drop a feather? Yes, that one dropped some. We did grab some books from the village, so we should have everything for the witch guide. Yes, we got our books, belladonna seeds, feather, and ink sacs. Yes, here we go, the art of witchcraft. I'm excited. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So basically this one is just the introduction, and it gives us the guide to craft 5 more books that will then go into each of the branches of magic that we can do. For example, there's a whole book about herbology, which we can craft with a poppy and a dandelion. And then that gives us a list of, I think, vanilla plants as well as magical plants that we can use for stuff like potions. Speaking of potions, there's a whole book we can use for that, for which we will need belladonna flower this time and exhale of the horned one. You need to do some magic to get exhale of the horned one in the first place. This is why I think you have to craft the books in this order, because only then you'll be able to do everything. So I guess we'll be starting with some herbology, but first let's find a place to settle down, because we also need a base. One thing I'll be doing in this world is grab every single pumpkin I come across because, well, this is a Halloween video and I'm building a Halloween village and this is gonna be so packed with pumpkins. We've been boating for a while and we came across this island. It's a little too big for all of it to be a village. I don't think the whole island will be transformed, but maybe the upper part here. And now my plan for today is to just build my own base, like a witch hut somewhere, and then in the coming episodes I will add a whole Halloween themed village next to it. And now the way I see this, I'm a friendly witch, you know, I'm a good witch. I'm good friends with the villagers and we have a mutually beneficial relationship. They let me stay here, they're good company, and then in return they come to me with their ailments and I'm helping them. So I'm not some evil witch, I'm a good one. That's why I will be living right next to a village. Not in the village, I think, but right on the edge of it. So I grabbed everything we need for the herbology guide. So let's take a look. Basically, this gives me a list of all the plants that I can use for magic, including some common ones that you can just find, like belladonna, garlic, mandrakes and stuff. But then there's also plants that you don't find, that you have to create with magic. And what you need for that is mutandis. That's basically something that lets you convert plants you can find into plants that you can't find. For example, if I want a rowan tree, which I think you need for quite a lot of magic, you need to transform something else. And for that, I need mutandis, which I can make in a cauldron, which I do not yet have, so that's something we need to make. And then I also need exhale of the horned one, which I think can be obtained through a witch's oven, so that's also something we need to make. Before we go on the hunt for resources, we're gonna add a little starter farm area here. We're gonna add the usual wheat, but then we're also gonna start a little witch garden. We got some belladonna seeds here, some wolfsbane seeds. By the way, I don't know if that means that there's also werewolves in this mod. It's entirely possible. Oh no, the water artichoke needs to go into the water. Let's put that here. Then we got, okay, flaxseed. I don't think that's the witch mod. I think that's Farmer's Delight, but I'll add it anyway, and some mandrake seeds. All right, and now I'm actually gonna stay awake through the night and wait for spiders to spawn, because I also got a backpack mod installed, and the only thing that's missing to craft a lower tier backpack is string. There's a spider. Nice. Yes, I think I've grabbed everything we need for the backpack. We need to make a sleeping bag first, and then I think it's chest in the middle, sleeping bag below for leather in the corners, and string on top. Here we go. Now what we're gonna do next is just collect all of the resources that we need for building, and I'm also gonna try and grab some sheep and cows somewhere and put them in a pen. Then look what I've spotted in the distance. That looks like a structure which is added by one of my mods. I want to check that out. We have reached the house, so we're definitely setting our spawn here, because I think there's bad guys in there. Invitation to the tea party. That sounds ominous. I want to see if I can grab these without breaking them. No, it's just bones. Well, but I will take bones actually. And then maybe we can come back someday with Silk Touch, because maybe Silk Touch will pick these up. There's a wither skeleton skull. Alright, so I might have taken a break from filming here, and when I came back I might have forgotten to hit start recording again, which is why you guys missed quite some chaos. I died 3 times till I found a spawner, which was hidden right here under the furnaces. On one hand, it sucks that you guys missed this. On the other, I'm kind of glad because it really was very embarrassing. But now, look at the loot that we're getting. More golden carrots and then a whole block of diamond. How crazy is that? And ancient debris. Because I didn't want to die anymore, I also built up my way to the attic and sneaked the loot that was there. Guys, do you remember how I said we were going out to grab all of the resources we needed for our house? Well, we did go out and we did come back with a full inventory and a full backpack, and this is the grand total of things we got that we need for the house. So yeah, we need to go out again. But first, I found, where is it? I found 1 glowberry at the haunted house and I've already planted it here because I love glowberries as a light source. And since we haven't found a lush cave yet, I'm just gonna bone meal the hell out of this 1 glowberry that we do have. Both my inventory and my backpack are getting very full, so I think we're gonna start the journey back, and I'm just hoping that we come across a dark forest on the way back, because dark oak is the only important thing that's really missing at the moment. We're on our way back home, and I've just spotted that. I'm not sure what it is, but it looks very abandoned. I say we check it out. Looks like an abandoned farm. A zombie horse. Are you gonna bite me? No? Okay. So I don't have a saddle, but I think once I maybe got some, I'll be coming back for you to see if maybe I can tame you. It would be really funny if I could ride a zombie horse in this. Oh, I know what this is now. It's another mod I have installed called Haunted Harvest that, among other things, gives me corn, which I thought would be perfect for this video. So let's grab some. I'm not even sure what we can do with that, but in an autumn themed video, it's just never a bad idea to have some corn, I think. Maybe some cornfields. But what we haven't found so far is a dark forest. So I'm still hoping for that. Now we are back at base, just unfortunately without any dark oak. But I just had a look at our map, and turns out we boated by a dark forest when we came here from spawn. So I think I'm just gonna craft myself a boat and head back there. This is gonna be quite the journey, but hopefully it won't take too long by boat. Look how serene this is. So beautiful, boating at night. We made it! So let's grab some of this, make sure we have enough saplings, and then go home and finally get our house built. We are back at base and we now got everything we need for our house. I want it to be like a witch wagon. I think I will build the house first and then add the wheels. So let's just go up. I think I want the floor to start at this height. And then I'm gonna bring up the walls. And then let's strip all that. I want the door to be on this side. Now, I think I want to swap some of these for planks. Now I also want to add some pillar trims to the edges. Let's add some trapdoors to the sides here as a railing. Now I want to pull the whole trim around, but we're not gonna do that with the actual trim. I think we're just gonna use slabs and trapdoors. For the upper floor walls, we'll be using the chipped mod. I want something patterned, maybe this. Yeah, let's just follow the same outline, and I think we'll go up 3 as well. I took out the trap door so we can go up here. Yeah, I think that's fine, but we need some trim for the upper floor as well. Now we're gonna add some flower beds and shutters as well. For the roof, I think we'll go along these edges with dark oak beams, and then we'll fill it in with moss. I want to go one out, and I want this 3 tall. Now let's go pretty up the roof with some leaves, and we'll do a dark oak trim. And now this is our finished build. I think it looks pretty cool. Now for the interior. I want this to be a little kitchen, storage, living room area. So from the Farmer's Delight mod, let's add a stove here. Maybe put a pot on top of it immediately. And then a furnace and a blast furnace on both sides of it. And one of my mods gives me this really cute pumpkin decoration, which I'm gonna put here. Actually, I wanna try and place it the other way around. Yeah, that's better. Looks really cute. Oh, look at that. Then 2 chairs here. Yeah, that looks cute. Then I'm gonna take these cupboards, place them here and here. And then I have made a tinkering work table, which lets me craft a lot of different versions of lanterns. And one of them is this paper lantern that I think is really cute. And then this area, I want to be a little workstation area, the botanist workbench. And then we also have the tinkering table. And I can actually sit in these. How cute is that? I can sit in these chairs as well. I love that. Honestly, just having the option of actually sitting down makes Minecraft feel so much more immersive. Alright, let's go upstairs. Let's put the bed here. And I have a nightstand. And guys, the cutest thing, a little froggy nightlight. How cute is that? Then I need to wall this off to make it look a little more open. I will make it with trapdoors. And then on this side, I want to have a little more storage and work area. Up here, I think more cabinets. Alright, and now this area is where it gets a little complicated. I'm gonna place a witch's oven here. This one was fairly easy to make. You just needed some iron. So basically this works like any other oven. You need some fuel here. You can burn, for example, saplings. And then you need to place a clay jar in here. And this will then burn down your sapling to wood ash and give you some sort of fume, which has magical properties and which you can then use for other magical things. Now, as you could see right now, it doesn't always work if you use it just like that with just this, but there is guaranteed success if I add 2 fume filters on the sides. But I can't make them yet because they're made with magical ingredients which I don't have yet. So that's what we're going to be working on next. We crafted another witch guide, this time about extraction. This shows us all of the different fumes that we can extract by burning something in the witch's oven. All of these you can use for different kinds of magic, for potions, for rituals, etc. Another thing I really like about this mod is that there's a little bit of lore behind it. Celtic lore. For example, here you learn that there was a goddess whose name I absolutely cannot pronounce. This Brigid, whatever. And that bird represented healing and protection, and I looked it up. That's actually true. So you can even learn some interesting things while playing this. Now, as I said, there's not a guaranteed drop of these fumes whenever you burn a sapling. If you use just the witch's oven that we've already installed upstairs, you'd have to add filtered fume funnels to get guaranteed drop. 1 funnel on each side, so 2. And for this, you need fume filters, which require magic. To craft these, we need an attuned stone, which is basically just a diamond that's been charged with magic. We would need to make whiff of magic, and we get whiff of magic by burning a rowan sapling in our witch's oven. Now this is where it gets complicated again, because rowan sapling is not a vanilla sapling. You need to use magic to get it by mutating any other kind of sapling or small plant like flower, etc. And how do you do that? You need mutandis for it. And how do you make mutandis? With the cauldron, which is yet another witch instrument that we haven't got yet. So there's not actually the witch's oven, there's also a cauldron, and then later there'll also be a kettle. And we do have one big problem now, which is that we have a grand total of 1 iron ingot left. And another thing that we're lacking is hot chocolate. And for that we need cocoa beans. That might be a little ridiculous, but I think just for the sake of cocoa beans, we are gonna go on an expedition to find a jungle, and hopefully on the way we'll find some more iron. So we were successful, but it did take us quite some time. I can't wait to get a broom. But for now, we had to do the journey on foot, and it was long and it was arduous. And we did it only for cocoa beans. So I say we now have to enjoy the fruit of our labor. I've already grabbed everything we need, which is a bowl, some milk, the cocoa beans and pumpkin, and then we have our pumpkin spice. hot cocoa. So with that, let's sit down by the stove and enjoy. Isn't that just so cozy? And it smells so good. Now, I took a sip, it was very yummy, but I think the rest we will leave here to look very cute. Look at that. And it smells even better than it looks. So now it's time to do some magic. Let's look again into our herbology book, and there we see that we can craft mutandis in a cauldron by adding mandrake root, exhale of the horned one, and an egg. I already got both mandrake roots and an egg, so what's missing is the exhale of the horned one. And if we take a look at our extraction book, it shows us that we need to burn an oak sapling in our witch's oven. So let's do that first, and we're gonna hope that it drops the exhale. Well, not the first time. That's why we need these extensions. We're gonna work on that. Quite a lot of wood ash we're collecting here. Now we finally got one. So now with mandrake, the exhale of the horned one, and the egg, we got everything to make mutandis. We just need to make the cauldron, which I already have a vanilla cauldron here, and we need to make that into a witch's cauldron, which doesn't sound too hard to do. Just mandrake seeds, belladonna seeds, water artichoke seeds, snowball seeds, and then we get this anointing paste. There you have a witch's cauldron. And now the funny thing is, you don't right click it or anything, you just literally, you throw the items in like this. And then we can watch it do its magic. And then I think we can grab the mutandis. Yes, and we should get 6 out of it. If we now mutate this grass up here, it could just as easily become a flower that we don't want. So we might need to use up quite a lot of mutandis to get what we need, but let's try. Oh, it actually immediately gave us an alder sapling. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna grab that. And ember moss. I need some shears for this, I think. Oh, does that? It gives you fire damage. I didn't know. Okay, well, good to know. Grab this. And then we got 1 mutandis left. Fingers crossed this turns into a sapling. Nope. We grabbed more mandrake, exhale of the horned one, and X, and we tried it again. And while the mutandis was cooking, we did a little witch dance for good luck. And the good luck dance worked. We got a hawthorn sapling. Nice. Now I think we're just missing the rowan sapling. And it actually worked. We got a rowan sapling the 3rd round. I need to do this witch dance every single time. It works like a charm. Now let's plant these 3 saplings up so we don't have to do that again. Alright, all 3 trees have grown. Here we got the rowan tree. This is the alder tree, and over here we got the hawthorn tree. So let's bring them all down immediately, and let's hope that we get a lot of saplings out of this. 3 hawthorn saplings, that's perfect. Currently we only need rowan saplings, so I'm just immediately gonna replant all 3 of those. The rowan tree also gave us 3. Nice. Now in this case I'm only gonna replant 1. Now with the rowan saplings, let's go back up and do some magic. Yes, here we go. Now with this we can make our fume filter. And now we get more drops. We can only make sure that we always get a drop if we add a filtered fume on both sides, but I can't craft the other one yet because for a fume funnel you need glowstone. And we had a wandering trader coming by earlier that I only bought 3 of, and 2 of them I already transformed into glowstone powder because I needed that for my nightlight. And so we only had 1 glowstone left. So until the trader comes back or we make a trip to the nether, we won't be able to add the second one. But adding that one will ensure that we get a lot more drops. Also, while we're up here, I want to show you what I did with the glowberries. I just basically, to have some light in here, I added glowberries everywhere. I also added these 2 pumpkins to the entrance, and then I also cleaned up the outside area. I took all of the chests and stations away that were here, and I put them here. I don't know if this is a final solution. I just didn't have a better space for them right now, but to be honest, I kind of like the secret space in our house that we have, especially with the ranks growing down here. And then I also started adding a path that will eventually go all the way over to the area where I want the village to be. And now with all of of that done, I think this is a great spot to end the episode. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and please consider liking or subscribing. And I will see you next episode when we will actually start with the village and do a lot more magic. We've barely just scratched the surface on that. Now have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye!